Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's been a bit of a day for me. This is my third time recording. Every recording's been botched or messed up by some error or another. Some weird resolution stuff with my software. I don't know what's going on with my computer and arena these days. So, if I am basically over recording the intro, it's because it's the third time. But this is the color challenge, and this is Black, White, Angels. There's a lot of interesting options in Black-White. They have knights, they have vampires. There's some, I think last time I used a Black-White Lich's Mastery deck to get the job done for the color challenge for Black-White. But today, we're playing Black-White Angels to combine the power of Lyra Dawnbringer and Seraph of the Scales. In an attempt to balance this mid-range deck to have a little bit of game against Control and Gates, we run 4 Duress and cards like Argyl's Bloodfast and the Immortal Sun. But we have pretty good game against red by playing early cards like Tithe Taker, History of Benalia, and Kaya, the Orzhov Usurper, and some removal spells. So I think it's a nice middle-of-the-road mid-range deck. We also have 2 Memorial to Follies to get some angels back if they die. And we have Arch of Arazka to hopefully draw us out of some board stalls. Hasn't come up too often, but makes me feel better when I have to run 25 or more land in a deck without cards like Chemist's Insight or Search for Azcanta. It makes me feel good to have some card advantage baked into that mana base. So, let's go play some games and see what Lyra and the crew can do. Hand is good. I will keep. Hopefully we draw another white source. So I realize I may have a lot of new viewers, so it would probably be a good idea to talk about the color challenge. The color challenge is something that I created as a way to challenge myself to have a wide variety of decks on the channel. I try to win a constructed event, the get to 7 before you lose 3, best of 1 event, with a deck of every combination of colors. Now this started out as something I do on my Twitch stream, so all the decks that you see have already achieved this feat. However, the YouTube audience did enjoy it last season, but I started it too late and wasn't able to finish it. I look forward to finishing it this season, and we're going to basically be showcasing a deck from every color combination that, at least on one glorious occasion, was able to get 7 wins in the constructed event. So, this is the deck. This Orzhov Angel deck already did win 7 games on Twitch. Now I'm showcasing the deck on YouTube. Will it get to 7 wins again? Maybe, maybe not. I don't record the event until I get to 7 wins every single time. In fact, I never re-record the event just to make sure I get to 7 wins. But it's a chance to show you a deck that has gotten to 7 wins before. And if you identify with this color combination and like what's going on with it, it gives you a new deck to try out. Not every deck will be shining and original. It's hard to play Esper Color Challenge without playing Esper Control, for example. Some decks are just super meta-defining, and I enjoy them. But there's also plenty of times where I get to play something different. This Angel list is a pretty different list from what I normally play, so maybe many of you will enjoy that. I can tell you that the Azorius list is not an Azorius control deck in the traditional sense. It's an Azorius Super Friends list. It has 14 Planeswalkers, I think, something like that. Get you hyped for War of the Spark. And the other deck that's interesting is a Rakdos Captive Audience control deck with 3 copies of Captive Audience. So those are coming up. So this block, I think it's very obvious to block the Direfleet Poisoner. The risk there is the opponent may have another Poisoner, but I think I'll take the chance. They have a Plague Rite, which gives our creature -1/-1 if we block it, so that's not a good trade. And our opponent has Fungal Infection. So they have an affinity for these 1-mana tricks with Fungal Infection and Skullduggery and Grizzly Bears. I wonder how often this strategy works out for them. Let's play a Seraph of the Scales, put a nice big body in the way. It can gain Vigilance, it can gain Death Touch as Afterlife 2 if it dies, so it makes 2 spirits. Just a lot of good stats, and when it teams up with Lyra, and you gain Lifelink and +1/+1, it's pretty brutal. Let's see how the opponent plays this turn. Alright. Still attacking. I'm going to put the knight in front of the poisoner again. The opponent, with their tricks, they're trying to make blocking difficult for us, and I will certainly take that chance. I'll also put the Seraph in front of the corpse and make the opponent have, what, Skullduggery, I guess, does it? But maybe against a card like Skullduggery and Fungal Infection, we want to be a little less risky with our blocks. Not to mention we get a 4-point hit off this if we wait one more turn. So, okay, I'll try this. And we'll see. Fungal Infection returns. I still get 2 spirits. I don't think that's what I would call the greatest. So if I attack in with the knight, the opponent makes a 2-2, but I guess I have to deal with that sometime. May as well be now. They may also even decide to gang block, which, that's fine with me too. I'll trade my knight for multiple bodies, since that's pretty much all our opponent has going. And then after that, we're playing Lyra Dawnbringer. Lyra Dawnbringer is going to be really tough to kill. If the opponent doesn't have... And usually what they run here is cast out, so they need something like Walk the Plank. But all the combat tricks in the world probably won't help you against the 5/5 first strike creature. And the opponent's going to take the hit after doing some maths. Here she comes. And this is where we see if all the commons and uncommons have game against a mythic rare. Here's a Gutterbones. No attacks. So they do not have an answer to Lyra for now. That's a really good draw. Lyra's legendary, so playing 2 is usually not the plan, but I can start attacking. The lifelink makes it so hard to race this card. It can take over a game. And then we can play Seraph of the Scales, and we still have a blocker that is pretty disposable, that we don't mind putting in the way. We also have a lethal attack next turn if the opponent can't kill us, and we have 17 life. Alright, the opponent says go. I'm going to do something that I think is funny. You might think it's BM, but I'm going to flex by showing some tipping scales for fun. I think it's pretty funny. Some people may feel it's BM. I disagree. You got to be able to have some fun with the game, I think, but hopefully the opponent doesn't take it that way. I think it's pretty funny to show that you can just like flex the scales over and over. It's one of those animations that you can activate as long as you have the mana. Whoa. On the draw. No black mana. I don't know about this. Yeah, I don't know about this in the meta. If our opponent's a red mage, I just don't think we can win. So I'm going to mulligan it. And this, I think, can compete with a red deck, but it's really uncomfortable having the Immortal Sun in 2 out of 2 openers when you basically never, ever want it in your opener. However, we look like a control deck, and we have a 6-drop, so I'm going to keep a land on top of my deck. I wonder if I should duress right away. So, against Golgari, there's nothing that they use on turn 2 or 3 for that matter that I could duress. The thing that you want duress to hit is Vivian Reed, Vraska, like Karn, the Planeswalkers. So with nothing going on, I think I'm going to hold this duress, and I think I'm going to wait until turn, like, say 3. And then I'll play the duress, because it also gives my opponent more chance to draw the Vivian Reed or draw the Karn. And it might not be in their hand right now. So this is, I don't know if you call it a next level play, but it's certainly a play that you only make after you've had some experience playing with duress for, say, a couple dozen years, or you are the type of person who thinks ahead a lot. Llanowar Elf, no. I'm probably going to cast this down, but I'm going to let my opponent make their decisions. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to cast the Jadelight Ranger down using our mana now. We might draw something we want to play on our turn. And there's no question I want to make sure that card goes away. So, to Duress now or to Angel? I think it's Angel time. I think there's a good chance something bad happens to the Angel. I don't think it will live, but if my opponent has a Find Finality, I don't know that they want to use it on these elves. If they have a Vraska, that would be really bad. A baby Vraska specifically. But that isn't run nearly as often as Vivian Reed. 2 lands off the top. Alright. Let's make sure there's no Vivian Reed coming after us. And we see Find, we see the Eldest Reborn, and we see Cast Down. Ooh, well, Shalai is really good against Cast Down. Doom Whisperer is coming out next turn, that's scary. I think the card I most need to take is the Eldest Reborn. But this hand is very intimidating. If the opponent taps out for the Doom Whisperer, I can play Shalai. It can't be cast down, and it protects the Resplendent Angel, so that's something I have going for me. But that doesn't solve the fact that the Doom Whisperer can probably do some very mean things. Wow, the opponent doesn't go for Doom Whisperer. I'm pretty surprised. I guess that means they're going to take this turn to cast down my Angel. But we are in a really bad spot. In general, Golgari/Sultai is a much better mid-range deck than our mid-range deck. In so many ways. That Duress is a pretty good draw. We could also try to save it to hit the Vraska's Contempt, then play Shalai. But that just gets the opponent to play their Doom Whisperer earlier, which that card's going to kill us if we don't draw the answer. So let's take out the Find, play the Shalai. Our opponent will spend the turn contempting the Shalai, holding the Doom Whisperer. That gives us at least a turn to either play Immortal Sun or draw another way to deal with the Doom Whisperer. And how did I know my opponent would do that when they could have played Doom Whisperer? Because they already showed an affinity for killing my things rather than playing their creatures. Alright, the Seraph of the Scales. The opponent might be willing to Doom Whisper their way to a Vraska's Contempt. We will see. And here's Big Daddy Doom. I think I would attack with the Branchwalker if I were my opponent. That's a pretty happy trade to make, and they do go for it. Alright, can I top deck the land or a way to kill the Doom Whisperer? I guess I wasn't specific. Alright, let's grant Vigilance, because we do need to attack here. Let's flex some scale emotes. We can always grant the Death Touch if the Doom Whisperer gets in front. But you want to try to hit the opponent here. Okay, they're going to surveil now and see. This is smart. They're going to see if they can find a Vraska's Contempt or some other way to kill the Seraph near the top, and that will inform whether or not they should block. Also, a Find would probably make them wish to block as well. So we pressure the life total just a little bit. We play Memorial to Folly. And now if our opponent slams a Vivian Reed, we're so far behind that the Immortal Sun won't save us. Chupacabra's good too. So to show I'm still doing it, we're gonna tip some scales. Gonna move some scales around. If I'll do it when I'm winning, I'll do it when I'm losing. Just spam some emotion at you. And here comes a lot of things. I guess I don't have a better block with this later. I don't know what I can draw though. If I remove this and I'm at 4, I'm still dead. I'm trying to think through the deck of draws I could make that would get me out of this. I don't think there really are any. Just going to line up some blocks. Yeah, that is not it. We can certainly get back... Get back a Resplendent Angel, but it doesn't matter. So we can concede this one. I think I would call that a really bad matchup. Good old Golgari, not even the new Sultai hotness. I think classic Golgari has to be a really tough one. Well, there you go. They gave me the 3-lander, but they didn't care whether or not it had black. Alright, we'll try it. All up to the top decks. Duress you. Lava Coil and Opt with Rekindling Phoenix and Niv Mizzet. Let's take away your coil. Yeah, this is gonna get messy. This is another spot where, well, obviously I'm mana screwed, so nothing's good about this. But if you're gonna talk about a deck that, I guess we have removal for these, we just don't have it anywhere nearby. It's not handy. Ops on ops on ops. Those look really fun. I want some. Oh wait, not my colors. I get no options. I just have to look at these 2 lands. I'll give it one more draw step. Hey. I guess the creature, give it this a try. I don't think that Kaya's going to do much. But Kaya can exile the Rekindling Phoenix if the opponent, say, plays Phoenix and trades it for an Angel. Is that the play, to get rid of the Phoenix while I can? And have a Kaya on the battlefield? No, I think I'm going to need something like a Resplendent Angel in my life. So let's play the Seraph of the Scales. And say go. Now, trading Seraph and using Kaya, that sounds very nice to me. Our opponent found a Crackling Drake. Weird Opt in that spot. Not representing Dive Down or Spell Pierce, so probably doesn't play those cards. So what do you play with Niv? Alright. Let's see what happens if we give this Vigilance and attack. Phoenix blocks. Sure. Phoenix to graveyard. Unfortunately, Niv is super legendary, so Cast Down won't kill Niv. And here's Kaya. And we can at least get this Rekindling Phoenix exiled, and exile a few instants and sorceries, although that doesn't reduce the Drake. It might reduce an Enigma Drake if that's in the deck, but this counts cards in exile too. Okay. Our opponent doesn't play Niv, which implies they do run Dive Down. I think this is an easy chump block. I don't think a gang block is far too risky for my taste. And now we have a Cast Down, which we can use on the Crackling Drake. And then we can also gain life with that. So let's see if this resolves or not. Okay, our opponent runs Negate. Fun. Alright, let's usurp some of these spells to shrink the Enigma Drake. And say go. It's been unfortunate drawing 5 and 6 drops when we've been missing lands. Just one of those awkward mid-range draws, unfortunately. Now that's something I could get behind the Shuffler fixing. Multicolored mid-range decks would be a lot better off if they could, say, draw their colors and get to land drop 5 most of their games. Our opponent taps out. That was an opportunity to draw Conclave Tribunal. But instead, it's Lyra, again, basically here to troll us. So I'm going to leave this game. Our opponent's going to dominate it so easily. There's no point in watching those Niv triggers play out. So a little bit of removal and a resilient creature. I'll give it a try. Won't do the turn 1 duress. Let's get the tap land out of the way first anyway. There are worlds where that could punish me, but I'm not too worried about it. I'll go for the turn 2 duress and see what's going on. We got 2 Ajani's Welcomes and a Nightmare's Thirst. Well, considering what we're up against, I actually can't believe I'm doing this. Can't believe I'm doing this, but it makes the Nightmare's Thirst a lot worse if I take out the Ajani's Welcomes. Because they don't have an easy way to gain life. Legion Lieutenant's going to lead the way, not the Pride Mate. And something's going to get cast down. Usually I cast down Legion's Lieutenants when I see them, but this doesn't look like a vampire deck. It's a life gain deck, which means Ajani has to go. Well, not Ajani. You know, Ajani's kitty friend. Sorry, kitty. No, kitty, that's a dead kitty. Legion Lieutenant coming in for 2. Pride Mate going to the graveyard. Sorry. We can't have it. Off the top. Now we get our Seraph of the Scales going. Let's start tipping the scales, please. There they are. Scales, scales. So many scales. Uh-oh. The feast has been called. And thanks to the Lieutenant, they are a formidable feast. I could Conclave Tribunal the Lieutenant, which I think is actually a pretty smart play, pretty safe play. I could also give this Vigilance attack for 4 and then use it for the Tribunal, but I don't think that's the way to go because it lets the opponent gain back most of that life by attacking with these vampires. So I'm going to leave the Seraph on defense and get the Lieutenant off the board. And we'll see what our opponent can do about it. Skymarch Bloodletter. Alright. Combined with Nightmare's Thirst, it can take a Seraph down, but we have Memorial of the Follies to get it back, and it leaves behind tokens. Whoa. Okay. So, yeah, I'll take a block. Still, the Nightmare's Thirst thing doesn't kick in until after combat, so they can't save their token. And there is the Nightmare's Thirst. The opponent has a few more creatures, 1 more creature now. They are ahead on life total, but I feel pretty good. The angels are very powerful, and they force the opponent to go through a lot of resources to deal with them. Usually. Unless they top deck some Exile, some Vraska's Contempt. Ooh. More vampires at the feast. Board state is getting scary. Alright. I know, not flexing the scales. I feel like I showed the joke once. Maybe some of you just want me to flex the scales all the time these days, but like I said in the intro to the video, I've been recording a very long time. So I'm kind of running out of time here for the video itself, to be honest with you. Real world look at what CGB is up to. So, story time with CGB. I was in the chat of another streamer the other day, and I was just hanging out in chat, and this person kept asking over and over the streamer to direct challenge them. And when the streamer basically, at first they were very polite, but then they started ignoring this person because they were basically spamming that they wanted a direct challenge. Then it was interesting. The professor from Tolarian Community College was in the same chat, and he started spamming the professor with those requests. The professor graciously declined. Then, just to then, like, just to establish the pecking order in this person's mind, they moved on to me. And I don't know if they were getting frustrated by not or now, or what was going on, but usually, like everybody else, when they declined, they just didn't say anything. This time when I declined this person, saying I was enjoying watching the stream and not playing MTG Arena today, they replied saying, "You know your life is Twitch. Get on there, log on, and start playing." And there was no kappa, there was no sarcasm, there was no joke. They believe my life is Twitch, so I need to fire up this game right now and play with them. I can't stress enough to all of you who might think that my life is not just Twitch, and it's not just YouTube, and it's definitely not just Magic Arena. In fact, it wasn't that long ago that my business was running well without my involvement, and we were in the off season for roller derby, so I could work on videos for YouTube for hours out of my day. I could record for 2 to 3 hours and keep the very best games, and I actually really liked that because I do think it helped the content stay engaging. A lot of you are saying, I'm getting comments lately like, your games are getting boring because you're playing mono red too much. Well, I've always played that much mono red, and I've often been able to record, in the past when I had the time, I was able to record for 2 to 3 hours and just edit in the very best games that occurred and a good variety of opponents. Unfortunately, I can't do that right now. I'm far too busy. That's the honest truth. I'm not saying that to try to give anybody the impression that I'm important, but I do today. As soon as I finish this video, I have to go coach roller derby practice, which is exciting. My wife needs the office to record a podcast, so I'm going to be working on a laptop, getting some literally hundreds of shirts ready to ship that were ordered over the weekend for St. Patrick's Day. I think I'll attack with both. I think it's fine. And so that's what I have to do after I get done with this. And then tonight is WWE Fastlane, so I've got to get everything ready for a party because we have some friends coming to watch the show. I am certainly not without a life. I am certainly have more in my life than Twitch. So and MTG Arena, to be honest, if anybody's wondering. On Patreon, one of my goals is to reach an income level that would allow me to take the jump to be a full-time content creator. I still hope to get there someday. We're not there. We're working on it. I think the last time I ran the numbers based on YouTube, the way that ad revenue seems to work with relation to subscribers, I'd need around, it was somewhere between 35 and 40,000 subscribers, so we're about halfway there. And on Patreon, we need significantly more support through Patreon. Twitch also would have to increase by quite a bit for me to be completely full-time on it. However, thank you all for enjoying part-time me. This isn't a carrot that I'm waving out there. It's me trying to balance so many other businesses and so many other things I try to do with providing free Magic the Gathering content that you will enjoy. So thank you for believing in me, even on a part-time basis. And I guess I'll just leave a carrot out there of, I often wonder, I often like daydream, I often theorycraft what I could do as a full-time content creator, and just how great that would be. All right, so our opponent with a Champion of Dusk, they have a whole fresh hand. We have to get this game over with because they have so many more cards than we do now. Our graveyard doesn't have any creatures. I think that it's pretty clear that we need to activate the scales out of necessity here, not just to flex. We need to push the vigilance, get in the air as much and as fast as we can, and then probably block with these Seraphs and get them back. And so we'll attack there. We don't want to run this knight into the Champion of Dusk. I think every life point can count. This would be a 2-turn clock, but the opponent has lifelinkers to throw away, so I do need these to attack to get my opponent in that lethal range. And there we go. So I'm also going to take 2, and that's really scary when I'm at 7 life, but I need to be able to add Death Touch to this Seraph if this creature gets any bigger. So I want to be able to make the Seraph Death Touch and get it back if the Champion of Dusk becomes a 5/5 from, say, a pump effect like a Legion's Lieutenant, of which such a thing certainly hang out in the Vampire decks. Also, apologies to my opponent. I do think that was pretty... First of all, I started a story. It's very hard to story time and Magic at the same time, so I had to finish the story. A little unkind to my opponent, but I think it's something good to do for my viewers, to give a little more insight into my life. I think the opponent, it's fair to ask them to wait for the good of the many, out-needing the good of the one. And then secondly, it was a complicated turn about whether or not to play that Shocked Godless Shrine and whether or not to attack with these tokens. So they gave me a your go. It's fine. I deserve it. So the opponent wants to gain a life here. And I think I just take that block. I'm trying to think of what trap they could have. There's various pump spells and things like that, but again, I can get the Seraph back if it dies. And here is a Nightmare's Thirst. All right. You gain 1 life on the front end. So, yeah. Down goes the Seraph. In come the tokens. And then we Memorial to Folly back the Seraph. And we have to be pretty happy that that's the worst thing our opponent did to us with a full grip of cards. No settle open, so we are crashing this party. Let's add the Vigilance. Don't forget the Scales. And let's push with all the things, I think, because these are Vigilant, so I'll still have at least 4 blockers. So we've got a block on the token. No doubt the opponent wants to keep their Bloodletter around if they can. Champion going down in a fight with a knight. It's an interesting spot of how much damage they're willing to take. Right now they're taking 7, gaining 1. And they know there's another Seraph waiting in the wings. Alright, 3 life to 4. Turned out to be a very competitive game. Let's play out the land and leave up the activations. Just in case. I don't think it's likely to happen, but having the mana on the battlefield is probably a decent thing. As opposed to a bluff where it's like, the opponent could call any bluff I make. They have to because they're 3 life. Bluffing just doesn't do much. Playing around cards isn't really an option. The opponent says good game. I will reciprocate. Good game. And again, if you're watching this somewhere, sorry for a little bit of rope. Well, sorry you were possibly annoyed by a little bit of rope. I still think it was the right thing to do. I've got to serve the audience, not just the opponent. Reading the comments, it does feel like some of you believe in sportsmanship at all costs. Like I should play at full speed, no matter what, and explain absolutely nothing because there's somebody waiting for me. So there's some studies about this on different personality types. I would suggest that there's a personality type that is much more bothered by the expectations of others and the supposed, hurting of the time of others than other people are. And this is going to come off as a shock to many of us watching this video if you hear what I'm saying right now and think about what I'm saying. But we're all different. We all mentally process and respond to things differently. Crazy, I know. So our opponent with a turn 2 Pridemate Healer's Hawk combo, I think I'm taking out the Pridemate, not the Healer's Hawk. So I'm going to let the opponent hit me, grow their Pridemate, feel good about themselves, and then, sorry, I'm going to kill it. Now we need a land. We did it. Land off the top 1 time works out. History of Benalia. Let's roll some knights up into this and get them moving. Second knight. Hiya! We can wonder what's in the opponent's hand, where they have 4 cards and they didn't play another creature and they're a Healer's Hawk Johnny Primate deck. I'm not really sure what's going on. I was wondering if they had a counter spell. It appears they don't have a counter spell for that card. So when I'm confronted with what I suspect might be a janky and incomplete collection, playing around cards is often a mistake. We just kind of jam our more powerful threats and hope that they take over the game quickly before variance and some bad luck can sneak up on us, such as failing to draw enough land. Alright. That's a big hit. So, what I was trying to imply there, of course, was I could have played around to settle the wreckage, but I just don't think playing around cards is really where to be, unless, of course, it has the potential to cost you the game, and playing around it has almost no negative effect on your position. So here's Dawn of Hope. Let's see if the opponent draws a card. If they do, I'm pretty sure they're just dead. No, they don't. Alright, well, they left something open. And it's not a settle the wreckage. I'll just play a Shalai, I suppose. And slam. Alright. It's been kind of an up and down day, and like I said, I've already tried recording this video. I'm short on time. I'm going to go for my 4th win. It'll be the last game either way. Either we'll get to 4 wins, or we'll pick up that 3rd loss and call it a day for the Orzhov Angel deck. But I think it's better than it's shown for the most part. We've had just kind of a lot of mana shortages, awkward draws. Yeah. I think the deck is solid. It's still not my style. I don't really love these mid-rangey decks, but I think it's a more solid deck than it's showing. And it certainly is the style of some. I know some people love angel-themed mid-range decks, and I know that plenty of people are fans of the black-white color combination. So my main reason to show it is, 1, it's part of the color challenge. I think the color challenge is fun. I hope you do too. And 2, just to get another deck out there and on your radar that you may want to play. Oh, I do like my red matchup. I don't lose to red very often. It does happen. Sometimes you just get those awkward bad draws, but playing mono red with this deck is a lot of Lyra causing them pain, and if you know something about me by now, you know I love winning the red matchup. I wake up every day thinking about how I'm gonna thwart more red mages. Some would say that's contradictory because I, in my free-to-play series, told people to play mono red. I still stand by that. I still think, as far as building a cheap deck that wins quickly and a lot to build your collection, you should play mono red. You absolutely should. If you're working on your collection, I can't fault you for playing mono red. I may say stuff on this channel from time to time that gets, comes off as judgy, salty, condescending, arrogant, all the things I say. But a lot of that is me just thoughts, mouth, you. Like, you're directly connected to everything I say, and your ears get to tune in and out and perk up at whatever kind of hits you in the wrong spot. But I say so many things. I really get it. I'm going to say it now. I really do get that red is just the right thing to be playing if you're somebody trying to build their MTG Arena collection. But God, do I love beating it. All right, Lyra, or we could Tribunal this, and since our opponent might play cards like Dive Down and things like that, it might be worth the Tribunal, to be honest. But I'm going for Lyra because I want to make sure it resolves, and I want to smash face. And I don't think any Drake opponent can come back against this. We're going to gain 5 life. We're going to leave them at an insanely low life total. We have card draw waiting on the battlefield if we need it. We have Resplendent Angel ready to come down and make more angels. The opponent did the classic Drake thing in this game where they dirtle a bit. They draw some cards. They played Risk Factor, which isn't a card I run in the deck because it's similarly, it can dirtle without drawing cards is the problem. And we just played the most powerful cards on the board on turn 3, 4, and 5. And that's hard to come back from. All right, win number 4. I'm going to leave it there for today, but let's just all imagine that 7 wins. Bing, bing, bing. Just 3 dead red decks. Easy money. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. As always, I will see you in the next video. I'm off to enjoy WWE Fastlane and coach the roller derby team, as well as get literally hundreds of shirts ready to go out to customers. Thank you to everybody for supporting our sponsors, FlipsideGaming.com and HauntedFlower.com. Promo code CGB at either site will save you an extra 10%. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment. You can also support the channel on Patreon for special perks. Links are in the description. Our sponsors are HauntedFlower.com and FlipsideGaming.com. Haunted Flower sells officially licensed MTG apparel and accessories, and Flipside Gaming sells MTG cards and supplies. You can save 10% on either site with the promo code CGB, and it supports the channel at the same time. See you next time for another day in the arena. For now, it's me, it's CGB, signing out.